Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School, episode 600, part 70. Well, I don't know where we're at. We're endless space 2. So check this out.
Mm-hmm.
I zoomed us out to the constellation view before. It was not very helpful because we didn't know anything at the time that I did it. But now that we've seen a piece of another constellation, star lanes that don't seem to connect to our star lanes, we can tell that these are in fact two different constellations, and you can see that there is a constellation ownership bonus, a constellation control bonus. Whoever has at least 3 and the most planets controlled in that constellation, or nodes, it has to be nodes, gets a bonus, and the bonus is different for each constellation, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Okay, yeah.
Just another layer of complexity, another thing to keep track of.
So those constellations don't have star lanes. Can you go from one to the other? How does that work?
You will discover. We'll get there. We don't have the technology yet.
Okay.
We can tell that they're out there, but we cannot communicate ourselves directly. So, our main quest is to be present on at least 4 planets. We're working on it. We're working on assimilating the Galvan here, 2 planets in our home system, working on a colony over there. And I think with that, we're ready to just move on to the next turn, right?
Yeah.
Looks like we left the last one at the end of a turn. So we know where another player is, roughly. We're headed in that direction. We just completed xenobiology. We have become cordial with the Nashest. But more importantly, before I forget, let's get this caravel over here and retrofit to the latest ship design with the extra gun so that we can turn around and show it off to the Galfred. You can see here on the star lane these little logistics ships, 37 food, 35 food in that one.
Okay.
Headed over to Scorpius. So each one of those is worth about 3 turns of natural food generation, so they'll pull about 3 turns off of the clock here.
Okay.
So that's cool. That should be ours pretty shortly. Oh, interesting. There is a branch here. Well, I guess I'm going to send a probe down one branch, and I'm going to head down the other way with the ship. There are a lot of planets on this constellation. So Heka out here has a planet that is colonizable to us immediately. And with most factions, we would have to build a settlement ship back home in order to make this move. But with the Lumeris, we can just we can purchase a stake in the planet. We can have somebody else do it and just buy ourselves into that business. And I'm wondering if that's a good idea. Since we know there's another player over here taking up like a nice bottleneck position, like right after the branch here, might be a good way to keep Horatio ships from settling in. Because on this node to node map style, especially one like this where we have this long thin string where there's no branches or anything, people forward settling you gets to be a real problem.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is something that I encounter in historical game design. There are a lot of hex-based map or area-based maps, but especially a lot of the ones that are more operational, strategic in scale, you have a lot of node-based maps, point-to-point maps, and which represent, the realities of needing roads, needing ways to move from place to place.
Yeah.
And it gets real, like taking a single point gets real dangerous in a way that doesn't happen on a hex-based map where things are more granular. And I definitely think you should settle this one.
Yeah, where there's more ability to go around people.
Yeah, but let me tell you why.
Yeah.
In addition to all the reasons that you gave,
Uh-huh.
that planet is a tiny tundra that's so adorable. I want a tiny tundra.
So I'm looking at the rest of the planets in the area. This is a very cold, it's a cold star, you know.
Yeah.
If we mouse over, yeah, it's a red dwarf. So, colder planets. So I'm looking around in our technology wheel, trying to find where the colonization techs are for colder planets. And it looks like they're down this branch. So, perhaps a little bit of scientific advancement for us. Eukaryotic sap would give us an empire improvement that boosts the happiness of our planets, and some improved support modules for helping our ships make a little bit more out of their engines. But yeah, it's on the way to the cold stuff. So colonize snow. None of these planets are snow planets, but this does give you the prereq bonus on the other cold research types. We'll have to research 3 things from this tier in order to move up, but I think this is a good place to focus for right now. And we have decent science income thanks to our hero, so this will just roll that into even more research power. Also, okay. I was going to say also, there's a deed here. Maybe we can do this deed, but this is explore 50% of the galaxy. That is distant. That's a distant concern.
That's a lot of galaxy.
I will say, like, by the time you can do that, the 75 titanium is not likely to be super meaningful anymore, I feel like. There are some pacing issues with some of this stuff. All right, let's see where we end up. Okay, we are now friendly with the Galvan. They are providing us most of their resources. Most is not good enough for me. Oh, hey, the Academy's been discovered.
Okay.
Famous as the center for training famous as the center of training for all heroes. You hear that it is run by a Vajani dissident and a few of his followers called the Pathfinders. So, if we jump over here, this is the Academy. It is a massive space station in orbit around the destroyed planet Harrow. You can see a little bit of that going on in the background. And there's also...
That's rad.
There's some other stuff going on here. Nobody really cares about any of that. Harrow really is the show. And here is the main Academy fleet. The Bastion, the Prayer, and the Shields. Very large and impressive ships. 21,000 hit points, 17,000 points of offense. Just for a little bit of comparison, one of our ships has 1,700 hit points. And with all of its slots devoted to guns, a whopping 193 points of offense. So that's a very real thing over there. There's a thing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
For the moment, there's no reason that the Academy would attack us. We'll see how long that remains the case. As your sleek attacking craft glides into the Galvan's orbital port, bristling with weaponry, swarms of drone cams flit around your vessel. As predicted, your prime time, and the toast of the Bratish leadership. Within a week, the Galvan are part of the fold. So, 30 Hyperium, and this minor civilization has been folded into our own. This system's variety of peculiar architectural landmarks, surrounded by examples of far more modern construction, is evidence of a barely FTL civilization that was assimilated by a more technologically advanced galactic empire. Although some of the traditional customs and ways of the Galvan persist, they have essentially adopted Lumeris culture.
FTL is faster than light?
Yes.
Okay.
So there we go. They had exoscience stations, this planetary specialization here, which is cool, extra science. Their actual points of population are just +2 science each, which is fine. And you can see, even though this has become our civilization, effectively, you know, they've joined up, it is just their population.
Yeah.
out here. There is a minor civilization remains here. Do we have a probe left on this thing, right? Yeah. Let's use the probe from our caravel to check that out. We discovered a unique improvement, the analytical engine, +1 dust per curiosity discovered on the system. Okay. That's +1 dust on the system per curiosity. It's weirded a little. It's saying this bonus applies to the output of this system. And it's a unique thing. So you build it once, probably in your home system, and it just engines you some dust, which is nice. Speaking of dust, we now have, never mind, the cost to colonize this went up because we gain, because now it would be our third system instead of our second. So,
right.
Shoot. We'll get there. We'll get there. We're making a fair amount of money. Okay. And I think that's kind of it for the moment. We're waiting for the Nashast to hit 50 as well, so that we can attempt to assist them. And you can see here we have gained the Galvan trait. It has just been folded into our empire. So each of our strategic deposits is now giving 40 bonus science, which is significant. That's a lot of science relative to the output that we used to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, plus this system's 2/3 of this system's science output is from that trait. That has really given us a sort of a science path. Uh-oh. That's concerning. And we'll get right back to it in a second here. So first of all, that's right, we're working toward a quest that gives a large amount of dust, so we will, in fact, be able to put down on that planet. Well, these guys look strong, eager, and not that smart. What else could you want in your factories? These minor civilization rubes look like they've never seen civilization before. They're happy to have a steady job, and we're happy to help them spend their paychecks. It's win-win, but there are more opportunities out there. Some dissidents starting organizing the minor civilization workers. Well, that's a low blow. It's going to take some payoffs to get things moving again. So we have to reach 150 dust output in one of our systems. And once we have, we will earn this fancy system improvement that increases the amount of dust. It's only constructible on the home systems of other civilizations, and it improves the dust output of our home system by a certain percentage.
Oof, okay.
That's a fun, evocative design.
Babe, we don't have a research queued.
So 150 is a lot more than we're currently managing. I know we don't have a research queued. We just got a thing. So we were headed our ship down to Musis here, right, for to search. As we were doing so, it became the home of a pirate faction.
Speak.
It turns out there's a bunch of pirates over here. So we can quietly support the pirates and sort of use them as a proxy, like as a front in a military conflict. We can, take out a contract on another empire system, but pirates are, I don't know, they're not super trustworthy in my experience. We also could just wipe them out, right?
Yeah.
If we have enough influence, we can quietly sabotage their supplies, and then, there's like we have a whole mess of ways we can interact with them, and we totally will. I'm going to send out some probes over here, and then we're going to bail, because they're going to produce, fleets that have actual guns on them, and our scout ship will get annihilated. So I'm going to hold off on purchasing the settlement on Heka for a moment here.
Okay.
Because I want to see what's at the end of this. If these things reunite, I kind of want to buy as far forward as possible to be the front of our defensive perimeter and then backfill. right? Fill in the space in between that and home. So let's see if there's a better
tundra.
spot. Tiny. Okay. There will be other tiny tundras, and also, I'm not saying we're not going to pick that up. We'll get there.
Okay.
All right. We can research machine bacteria here, which will give us some kinds of enhancements to our Arachio class hulls, add some extra module slots, which is neat, as well as giving us better probes. So probes made of the strategic resources, where the Hyperion probe has better vision range and you can stock up more of them at a time, and the Titanium probe has the same vision range and stock as the normal one, but rebuilds faster. And the ability to colonize step worlds. I'm inclined to go this way. Magnetic field generators is just good. That's just good science output. And then there are some other colonization stuff around here. And it also is a prerequisite to some cool stuff, including terraforming science. Because sometimes what a world is just isn't good enough. What if you fixed it? What if you made it better? Let's keep our faction quest pinned here so we can keep an idea on what's going on. Keep an eye on what's going on. You can see the minor factions do start to produce fleets. We are really tearing through the research here. You discovered the planet Auriga.
That sounds familiar.
Hey now. Here's Estra 1, and the second planet in the Estra system. Boy, it sure is a large ice world inhospitable to life. This garden planet was used as a biological laboratory by the Concrete Endless, with myriad experiments run on both native and alien life forms. A site of major conflict during the Dust Wars, the environment degraded and the surface of the planet was eventually covered in ice. While there are rumors and expeditions that claim to have uncovered miraculous ruins and the vestiges of great empires, today, Auriga is an icy tomb.
Okay, Concrete Endless?
Yep.
Do you want to explain that at all?
Oh, now you want the information. I asked you if you wanted me to tell you stuff about the Endless and the Dust and whatnot before, and you said no. Do we want to know now?
Well, yeah, I want to change my mind.
Okay. So, the Dust Wars that are mentioned in that, you could piece this together slowly from things that you learned in the games. Basically, the Endless were this huge, incredibly advanced society. And at some point, there was a big schism, and their whole society basically broke into two factions, the Concrete Endless and the Virtual Endless. Basically, the core of the question was something about, like, what is a soul? Because the Virtual Endless felt like you can just digitize your whole being, and the thing that you digitize is you. And the Concrete Endless were like, first of all, that's not a good idea, and secondly, you're creating a simulacrum that is a separate thing. That's not you. And so this heated up until it became a civil war, and they are an incredibly advanced civilization with incredibly advanced weaponry, and they managed to basically fry the entire galaxy, including themselves. Long, long, long ago. And so life has sort of restarted in the interim. And yeah, that's the basic idea. So the Dust was a creation of the Endless that is partially responsible for all of the parts of the thing I just said. It's basically like, I'm sure you've read enough science fiction and stuff to be familiar with like a gray goo scenario. The Dust is basically a kind of gray goo. It's like self-replicating, self-repairing nanorobots that are responsive to commands via thought, like they're psychic. The reason that the reason that people on Auriga conceptualize the Dust as a substance that once with training enables you to perform magic is because they figure out how to command the robot swarm without ever understanding that that's what they're doing, right? It's just like you have more dust, you can suddenly do these things, you can make things happen that don't make any sense because they don't have any other way of conceptualizing, well, I thought it hard enough at the nanobots, and then they understood the command.
And that's a gray goo scenario?
You don't know? That's not, you're not familiar. Okay. Well, that's a different thing. We can have a conversation about that after.
Okay.
But that's kind of like the core idea of gray goo is this, like the idea of, well, one of the things that could easily happen if we were to create a technology that is like self-replicating, self-building, self-repairing nanobots is, what if we lost control of them?
Right.
And they just replicated endlessly, and so we have gained the technology necessary to colonize arid worlds on the way, as part of the stuff we've been researching here. So we can take over more planets in the Esh system here. I think that's probably a project worth pursuing after we get our very good basic science building.
Mm-hmm.
The xeno-industrial infrastructure, of course, is going to be hugely helpful in this system. And yeah, we are really taking off science-wise. We need one more technology to move on. What does baryonic shielding give us? The warp drive. Pretty handy. Also, advanced scanners that can detect better curiosities, more interesting curiosities on the planets.
I suppose the warp drive do.
Well, let me show you. We'll spend a turn researching in here, and then I will demo it for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into our ship designs and just redesign our caravel real quick. So that we can set this thing back to basic functionality and then run it down here. Okay, so we can now colonize every planet in the Scythe system. I'm curious exactly how far down we can go. We have unlocked, a new quadrant. We have discovered the Harosham civilization. One of our probes scraped this system. That's interesting. We'll interact with those folks in just a moment. Okay, so we've discovered a special node here. Not all of the nodes are planetary systems. Some, for example, are a black hole.
Okay, you don't want to go close to that. That's dangerous.
Well, they won't let you fly. Your pilots won't fly close enough to it for it to be dangerous. Okay. But you can see this node must be within your influence zone in order to benefit from its effects. So, let's talk about influence a little bit. You see how each colonized system, each occupied system, has a little circle around it?
Yeah.
The colors of which indicate ownership, which is maybe not the clearest with the ones we have here, but like the Academy has this sort of like faded yellow. The minor factions have this white, and we have this orange. See how they're different sizes, the circles? Mm-hmm. The way this works is every turn when the system produces influence, the influence expands the circle.
Okay.
So the more influence a system is producing, the faster its circle will expand, and it can eventually encompass other nodes, allowing you to potentially like gain benefits from them, or like if your influence circle starts to envelop a colonized node, the people of that place start to fall under your sway.
Okay.
And eventually they can break from their old ruler and try to join your empire and stuff. So influence is a way of sort of, among the many other things that influence does, the things that you saw in Endless Legend. It is a way of sort of like conquering, taking over places through soft power, through sort of like cultural overawe, so to speak. All right, let's say howdy to these Haroshams. What's their deal? They are of temperate temperament, and they reduce the food consumption on your systems. Their expertise in agriculture and nutrition means the population consumes less food per head in some, large abstract way. Well, we're just going to go ahead and bribe them a little bit. I'm going to give them actually quite a bit of money because we can't really affect them in other ways. They're not on our constellation, so it's harder to get a hack over to them, and we can't easily explore curiosities on their nodes or anything, so they get more money. Because we're trying to push population with their opinion of us up to 50, right? So that we can quest with them. Okay, so we did it, 20%. So we got our warp drives. The warp drive unlocks free movement for all your ships, which allows you to do this. You will notice that's a remarkably small amount of distance per turn.
Yeah.
Free movement is very, very slow. But it is the only way to travel. Well, it's not the only way. It's the only way most factions have to travel between constellations. Oh, and we've discovered another curiosity here with our increased curiosity discovery power. So that's interesting. We'll get that checked out at some point. So sorry, you were starting to say something?
Well, I forgot what that was, so I'm...
Okay. Oh, you're right. I probably should be researching anything at all. So we were headed up here toward these cold researches. What is best to get first? Graviton Shielded Laboratories, a building that costs Hyperium, does give you just a very large amount of flat science, as well as the ability to colonize Arctic planets and some additional hacking options. While over here, percentage science increases for Happy Worlds. I think optics research labs are going to be pretty good for us. We have a pretty easy time keeping our people our people happy, and we have that big flat science bonus from Minds Over Matter. So I think this is a situation where that one fits really well. After we get our cold weather settling technologies in place, we really probably should start researching things that will give us dust income.
Okay.
Because we are not doing a good job of pushing our faction quest along. Okay, the Nashest have become amicable. Also, our hack has successfully reached Kraz, just at the time when it really no longer needed to do so. Well, yeah, I was gonna do an improve image, but their image of us is fine. What is the name of the node? Okay, so we can cut down the amount of dust that it costs us to assist them, I guess is what I'm going to do with this. Minus 50% of the assist action cost. Just use our hack to help out with their task. Alright, a devastating disease outbreak is currently running rampant through the Nashist home system. Thousands have already succumbed to the infection, and tens of thousands more are sick. Everyday life is close to the breaking point. Critical industries are scraping by with skeleton crews, medical facilities are overrun with the unwell, and food shortages loom. Civil unrest is likely to soon spill over into outright rebellion. As the Nashest leaders attempt to manage the outbreak, one vital question remains unanswered. Where did the disease originate? Tracing the outbreak back to its inception and identifying patient zero could well be the discovery that breaks the plague's stranglehold. While Nashest scientists establish the identity of Patient Zero, they have asked if you can provide immediate relief for fleeing refugees. A swift building program to house, employ, and care for them will be greatly appreciated and could be useful for the future in any case. So, if we can, within the next 15 turns, finish 6 buildings, they'll join up. Okay. So, we have 2 buildings completing in the next 2 turns. That's a fair start.
Yeah.
Okay. Red Horatio put down an outpost on Scythe. Okay, and he has Artemis. So I'm going to turn my scout around. I don't care for this.
Who does he think he is?
So we need another turn worth of money before we can try to settle one of these planets ourselves. Probably not that one. But I think we should challenge him. I think we should try to stop him from getting control.
Yeah.
And I have a plan for how to do so. I also have the hiccups starting. Apologies.
That's okay. It's cute when you have hiccups.
Okay, well, I don't know that everybody necessarily shares that opinion. And also, it's annoying for a little while, and then they get actually very, very painful.
Yeah, I would like them to not be painful.
And continuing to talk definitely seems to exacerbate them. So we'll see if this goes away on its own. And if it doesn't in a minute or two, I will probably pause the episode.
Okay.
For the moment. Oh, right. Can I run a hacking operation through open space? Like, can I run one to the Wyrix? I can. It takes 11 turns to cross that distance. So just like ship movement, hack movement through free space is a nightmare. But I think that's the only useful thing we have to do with our hacking right now. We could hack the pirates and mess with their fleet generation, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not interested really in doing that. We're gonna deal with those pirates the old-fashioned way.
Okay.
So we're 12 turns out on this. I'm not going to spend any resources on this. I'm just going to let it happen. It is still the case that each food ship that arrives is going to peel a bunch of turns off of that, and we have two that are very, very close.
Yeah.
All right, so we should have enough dust now to at least start our own outpost. Oh, also, somebody else accomplished a legendary deed. We didn't even know this one, and it was done by Green, and we have no idea who that is. It's a big galaxy, you know?
Yeah.
Also, it's turn 16. You know what that means. There's an election soon, and here's how the people are feeling right now, according to polling.
Okay.
It appears that the pacifist party is in the lead, with probably the scientist party as second, which I think makes a lot of sense given the choices we've been making.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of things that have scientific political impact. You know, even just like everything you research. Although this actually is an ecologist research, but a lot of the stuff we've been researching creates scientific political impact.
So if you're doing more fighty stuff, it would create more militarist political impact?
That is correct.
Is there a point to which doing a lot of military would actually increase pacifist stuff, or is that not really a thing that's reflected? Is there a reaction
there
system?
Is no there is a system that sort of models the idea of people, you know, war weariness, but that's not reflected in this system. There's a different thing for that.
Okay,
so we want to build some buildings right quick here. Unfortunately, this system just really doesn't have a lot of industry output. If we swap over to, here we go. We have 13 turns left in the quest. I mean, if we build our xeno-industrial infrastructure, we'll get that done, and we'll have plenty of time to build cerebral reality afterward with all of the extra. Well, actually, this only gives, in this system, this is only plus 10 industry. Because we just have the one planet, and none of the planets are fertile or temperate. So actually, it's just kind of not a good build. I guess, get me cerebral reality. over here in Esh, we can pump some stuff out real fast. We should definitely build cerebral reality here. This would definitely be an easier quest to accomplish if we had more than 2 systems.
Yeah.
Oh, it does seem like my hiccups have calmed down.
I'm glad. I'm sorry that I find them adorable. I do know that Sawans only do this when they're distressed.
Yeah. Also, I really think that finding them adorable is kind of just like a specifically you thing. I do not think that the viewers all enjoy them as much. So we discovered this planet has
they're wrong.
This planet has molten springs. That's pretty rad. Blessed or cursed by volcanic activity close to the surface and a metal-rich crust, geysers of molten metal spew their very dangerous and very valuable contents from numerous points on the planet. Industry and commerce can clearly benefit from this bizarre geology. And some more battle tactics. I swear you're gonna see what the battle stuff looks like.
I'm really interested to see what it looks like because
we also discovered a source of adamantium.
Because I'm expecting it to be different.
It certainly is that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way it couldn't be, right? The paradigms we have seen so far don't make any sense on this kind of map. Oh, I forgot to buy the... Okay, we're going to purchase some settlement on this planet here.
Okay.
Welcome.
Look at that guy.
Wow, that's really loud for some reason. Welcome to Scythe 2. So, our outpost is currently being hindered by their outpost. They have fired this thing, absorbed 10 food each turn from opponents' outposts. Well, we have some military manpower saved up. We will also use troops to steal food from their outpost right back. So take that. I was hoping that they were not going to be able to do that. That's pretty bad for us. We're probably not going to get this, but I am going to make their lives as difficult as possible. A delaying measure here.
That does sound like you.
So, we have our scout ship in the area. I'm going to set it into guard mode. Notice the little lined thing around the system.
Mm-hmm.
So what guard mode does, any ship that enters the system immediately stops everything and ends its turn. This will form a blockade around opposing systems, which can, do all kinds of negative things to them. Of particular import to us here, what it's going to do is all of the food ships that are coming from his planets are going to stop and not be able to deliver their food until the next turn, and we will have the opportunity to open fire on them while they are stopped for the turn. And we will absolutely do that. I will absolutely shoot down every single one of their food packages. So we are not letting them take control of this without a fight. All right, I'm gonna...
Horatio doubts your motives and your ethics.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
We also deplore your lack of refinement.
Okay, Beldar, calm down. So, we're going to try to sneak past the Academy here. Like I said, there's no particular reason the Academy would want to fight us at the moment, I think. So, let's hope that they don't make a big deal of that. And... yeah, I think they're going to probably beat us to the punch here. I don't know that we can really stop them, but we can annoy them. I'm a big fan of annoying my enemies. If he has ships with real guns on them, obviously this is going to turn around in a hurry, but I'm willing to pay some dust to just be an annoyance. All right, we're getting there with the Harashims. That's happening. See, our scout ship has been stopped because they are in guard mode around this system as well. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do anything about it. I may as well fire the one probe we have. I'm just going to shoot it kind of off in a random direction. Because, we're going to see what's down this way with our ship next turn. Okay, so I'm going to grab Graviton Research too before we go into dust stuff, just so that we can settle all of the cold planet types. So Zorak here, which is kind of serving... Zorak is serving as more of a bottleneck, I suppose, because it's right at the edge. What?
I'm sorry, I just thought of Zorak.
Yeah. You're laughing because there is a character in fiction that you are familiar with that has this name.
Yeah, and when you said serving, I think of a phrase I'm not going to repeat.
Okay.
On a family show, and I thought of Zorak doing that, and it was very funny.
Okay. So we're gonna actually maybe bail on the cold, because you know what? I'm thinking more that maybe we want to hurry up and get some of these these hot weather settles. So desert, ash, and lava. You know what's really handy? This is a lot of technologies, and it's hard to remember what's where. If we just type in the word desert here. Okay. The desert settling technology is on evaporation inhibitors, which also allows for some terraforming and even better curiosity discovery. Let's make that our next concern.
How much do you enjoy having me be a co-host?
I don't know that you want to know the answer to that.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm easily distracted.
We're trying to get to 6 buildings.
Mm-hmm. We have 2, right?
We have 3 finished right now.
Okay.
And we only have 11 more turns. So of the stuff that we have researched right now, we could get magnetic field generators finished, but it's not actually a very good building. Infinite Supermarkets does actually kind of nothing for us because our approval levels are insanely high. Everybody loves what's going on in this system. But if we do Analytical Engine into Infinite Supermarkets, along with population growth on this relatively high industry planet... Well, hold on. That planet over there is... Well, it's not colonized yet, though. So you'd have to do that first. I was going to say, we could get more industry by moving people to Ash 1, but we'd have to take time out to colonize the planet, which is not, which is not time that we're spending on buildings. So we might be okay just doing Analytical Engine plus Infinite Supermarkets plus the industry improvement that we get from the extra berth. I guess the Analytical Engine can wait, though. Let's do it the way that's a little bit more certain.
Now, so I noticed that we have over 100% approval.
Yeah.
That was not a thing we've seen in previous games, is
well,
it?
It didn't show it, but,
Okay. I thought 100 was just like a cap.
Yeah, it is. I'm just going to launch a bunch of probes out into the dark here. We'll just see if there's anything else out there. Because this ship is not going anywhere for a while. Now, we can use influence to improve the amount of food being sent out to this outpost. Unfortunately, the ships from Oshi are going to take fucking ever to get here. Because... that's Oshi.
That's a ways, yeah.
How's Scorpius doing? Okay, Scorpius is almost done, so we could take the ships from Esh instead. You don't want to be drawing too much food from any one system,
Yeah.
I still don't necessarily know that any of them are going to get here in time. I think I'm not even going to spend the influence. It's just too much travel time. Okay. In 5 turns, we're going to start seeing pirate fleets. Oh, what is this? An emissary from the Academy arrives, dressed formally. They only agree to speak or communicate in public venues while being recorded. This is no ordinary discussion. It appears that the head of the Academy is indisposed, and various organizations within the Academy are beginning to operate with a certain degree of independence. You are provided with a few names, a list, a small explanation, really a marketing brochure, on the Academy's structure and organization. Once the discussions are over, you place an encrypted call to the hero in your employ who is visibly uncomfortable. You understand, they say. We are beings of exceptional power. We're trained to seek only strength and knowledge, but some seek more, you finish. Yeah, and there are associations, fraternities, within the Academy, theoretically just clubs for heroes with shared interests. Those who seek power often use them for leverage, however, in research, training, exploration. None of this is shocking, though it makes you uneasy. But as long as they lack access to resources, you say, they're not a threat, at least not to friendly empires. Your employee nods as if agreeing and prepares to end the discussion. Then, at the last second, changes their mind. They add, remember that there are unclaimed places of enormous wealth out there, and everyone is starting to look at them. The transmission is terminated, leaving you curious and concerned. So, choose an objective here. We can choose to seek information about these unclaimed places. We can... This is seek information about them. This is seek them directly. Those things don't seem that different to me. And mapping. This is locked because we need a different constellation. Okay. So, investigate 10 new curiosities to receive the Probe Microfactory, a support module that makes probe production instant on the ships it's installed on, or finish searching to learn how to make a scavenged ram scoop, which is that's a lot of extra movement. I like that quite a bit. And also, we're in a position to do this. We have a ship outside of our constellation right now searching. So I think that seems pretty easy. We're just going to look for them directly. We're going to go find those places without even doing any research. Also, your system, Oshi, has been selected as the host venue for a major diplomatic summit. In the coming months, all eyes will be on you. Watchdog groups across the galaxy will be monitoring Oshi's infrastructure, stability, and security in preparation for the summit. Make sure the event goes off without a hitch, and you may find surprising new opportunities open up for your empire. Okay, so keep the system clear of enemy ships for our 10 turns. It is sort of like in the corner of the constellation, so I feel like that should be pretty easy.
Oh,
okay. Well, that's aggression right there. He feels strong. He thinks he's going to make something happen. I guess we'll see. We're totally going to start focusing on war stuff as soon as we finish this Patient Zero thing. Because we're going to have to, but also because I was going to do it anyway. All right, I'm not even seeing any food ships like trying to get out here. I think he's just with the blockade. I think he's just relying on the natural food output of the planet to get the job done, which is totally going to work because he put down on the planet that has all the food. What an asshole. But again, we're preventing him from settling it faster by sending food ships over, so I don't feel too bad about the thing we're doing. And now it's election time. We know how people surveyed. That was 4 turns ago. There have been, events to influence them in the interim, although I think mostly like ecologist type events. Also, we can put our thumb on the scale a little bit, potentially, if we have enough dust. So we can throw official support behind a party for free that gives a small boost to the chosen party. We can hold primary elections, which we select a party, and that provides a strong boost to the selected party. It basically like increases their value by a percentage, so it's more effective when you use it on a party that has a high amount of support already. And then we could use lobbying, where we select a party and it lowers the support value of all of the other parties. Which is the thing to do if the party you're trying to force in doesn't have a lot of support in the first place. As it is, all we can do is, put a tiny, tiny little thumb on the scale here. And I don't honestly know that I care much. I kind of think pacifist scientist probably is good. I'm going to level with you. I don't remember what all the laws are. There is a thing here that will let us look through them, but we don't want to actually look through all 30 of the laws available to us, I think.
No.
Oracle of Science does just reduce the cost of all technologies, which obviously is pretty good. The Dirty Hands Act will allow us to push improvement, lower improvement costs for improvements. There's some pretty good stuff in the Scientist Party. Let's go ahead and give them our official support. Just due to the weight of the Lumeris population, the pacifists are going to win the election for sure. So what we're doing here is trying to make sure the scientists land the second most votes. Okay, actually, it was actually pretty close. There are not a lot of total votes because we just don't have a lot of population yet. So, all right. Pacifists in, scientists in, and now that they both won an election, they get some XP, which unlocks, another tier of laws. So let's have a quick look at our government. Once the turn begins here. Okay, Outpost has turned into a colony on Scorpus.
Has a request for you.
And the Academy requires additional dust. All participants will receive credit that can be used to barter for favors. Yeah, let's talk to the Academy here. So they would love some dust. If we give them some dust, we could end up with an official role at the Academy. The Spear of Isyander may command the Academy attack Master Fleet directly. The Vault Keeper has access to all the laws of an additional party of their choice. The Legate has access to all the minor faction boosts and is more expensive to declare war against. And the Librarian can access hidden information only available to the Academy. So we can choose which role we want. Like we can set, a priority here for like which role we would like to be given if they were going to give us one. I am not opposed to being more expensive to declare war against. I mean, obviously the Academy attack fleet's pretty rad as well. Maybe like this. Honestly, maybe like that. I'm not gonna throw any dust into this contribution just yet. We have 20 turns. We might need our money for other stuff. So, in addition to, fulfilling their requests to try to get their favor enough for them to give us a role, we have all kinds of diplomatic options theoretically with the Academy. Once we have some goodwill accumulated, some relations, we can spend it on all kinds of things they might like. We can also declare war on the Academy, which I don't think is a good idea right now, considering we have no warships and they have, that big fucking thing that we saw. Oh, hey, look, we have discovered another constellation, the Edge of the Delphinus constellation, which is currently owned by the Green Empire. Green has expanded quickly. I guess we knew that because they fulfilled that legendary deed that was basically just expand quickly, right? All right, what's the deal with these guys? On Takim, we have encountered the Nearest. Check that out. Those are neat. Hailing from a vibrant ocean world, a short time ago, the Nearest's home planet wasn't always so brimming with life. A time of rampant expansion and population growth led to the ecosphere coming close to utter destruction. Today, endless miles of bleached coral, huge rusting industrial facilities, and the mass graves of extinct fellow sea dwellers still litter the ocean floor. These act as a constant reminder to the nearest and help sustain their ecological outlook on life. Now, among the remains, harmonious technologies maintain clean oceans and support a myriad of colorful life forms. Despite using inventive liquid tanks to traverse the land, the nearest are still most at home in water. The interiors of their spacecraft are more like verdant aquariums than typical sterile ships. So they... Oops, I right-clicked, sorry. Twitchy hands. The trait that they would give us if we were to take them over would be just a bunch of extra food, and their populations produce a lot of food, particularly from fertile worlds. I think they would be a lovely addition. Do we want to bribe them again? They have a lot of curiosities that we can explore. We can help them out in that way. Wow, they have a lot. Okay, yeah, let's just stay here and drop some probes on them. So we discovered that this planet has meteor strikes. Okay. Nope, that ship is in fact out of movement. I'm just checking over here to make sure no food ships have lined up. But yeah, they're not even sending any. Okay, that's fine. So, welcome to Scorpius. We can now get an extra build in here for Patient Zero, thanks to having a third settlement. The Xeno-industrial infrastructure is going to be really good here. In fact, it's going to be so good that maybe I do that first, because this planet is both fertile and temperate. And then we'll get through the drone networks afterward. Because we don't actually have to finish a build quickly. The other two systems are going to get enough things done for Patient Zero.
Okay.
Whew. All right. The government. So, our two parties here. Some of the government types allow for a government that contains a third party and thus gives you access to a larger number of laws. The last election actually went 3 votes pacifist, 2 votes scientist, 1 vote militarist. There's always a little bit of noise, there's always a little bit of randomness in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes things don't turn out the way the polling indicated they would. Unlike real life.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we check out our laws, we have access now to the Dirty Hands Act, of course, and the Star Boogie Bill, the Improved Vessel Speed and Exploration Program, colloquially known as the Star Boogie Bill, which just gives a very significant movement point bonus to all your ships. Running laws that belong to the parties costs influence. There's influence upkeep on those laws, and the more advanced the law is, the greater the influence necessary to keep it in play.
Okay.
I do like a reduction in system improvement costs, but right now we don't need this much extra happiness, probably. Right, we're benefiting from it. Well, so if we cut 30 approval, this planet falls to 78, this system falls to 83. This system is exactly maxed out. I don't remember exactly where the cutoff for ecstatic is. I think it's 90%, if I remember correctly. So we would lose some significant resource output if we change the law. I don't think it's... The thing is, the one resource we're not getting from this is industry, right?
Yeah.
And that law is effectively... the Dirty Hands is effectively extra industry when constructing system improvements specifically. But that's kind of all we're doing right now. I think I'm going to leave it as it is. Over time, we will unlock more law slots and maybe we'll change things up then. If we do pursue more approval boosts, more happiness boosts, we can maybe build a couple more happiness buildings on each system, and then pull off the 30% law and still be high enough to maintain the highest level of happiness everywhere. But we're not there at the moment. All right, so that's building number 4, finishing there. A brilliant inventor from the Esh system has created a wondrous piece of technology, a neural device that allows one to temporarily control the thoughts and actions of another. What a horrifying thing. Unfortunately, the inventor only created one, and he apparently passed away shortly after testing it for the first time. There's a bit of a hullabaloo over what to do with the device now. So we can destroy it. The people certainly would love for it to be destroyed, a potentially mass-producible device that violates every personal liberty known to sentient life. Maybe we get rid of that. Gives us plus 10 approval on Ash. Oh.
Come into your cosmos on a mission of survival.
Hi, I'm trying to do something right now. I will be right back. Okay, Ash is the home system.
Yeah.
Or we could just confiscate it. A technology so potent could be put to good use, not destroyed. As long as powerful technology stays in the hands of the trustworthy, which is to say, us, it's acceptable, right? So this would double the experience gain of our current hero. This is where he is. And it increases militarist political ideology, but only for 15 turns. This will wear off before the election. I don't know, Amabel. What do you think?
I mean, I'm leaning towards destroy, but that's less about evaluating the mechanical thing and more about this thing sucks.
Yeah, more about the deep horror of this thing. I'm gonna confiscate it because.
No, that makes sense.
Yep. I'm gonna confiscate it because you know why.
This is something that we talked about before. Like, I can't in a game, even if I'm mechanically incentivized to do the bad thing over the good thing, I would feel so bad. I think I told the story once before when I was playing the BioShock. I accidentally hit the wrong button and killed one of the little girls, and I felt so bad I deleted my save and started over.
So we saw a Riftborn ship over here briefly. So we know this is their constellation. And we also know that they are purple, not the player who is in control of this constellation. So they're second fiddle on their home turf there, it seems like. Which is interesting information and maybe useful diplomatically.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to get 2 more buildings completed within 8 turns. The plan here is to build these 2, and that'll cover it. So these other 2 systems can kind of just do whatever. They don't need to be accelerated. There is a pirate vessel on the way in. It's already damaged for some reason. It's not a very strong vessel either. 44 attack, 67 damage with 2,000 health. 44 attack, 67 defense value. I think we're going to be just fine. I do not feel inclined to flee. That thing doesn't seem like it's a danger. We'll just send out a probe. Oh, hey. More pirates. Another pirate group has formed on Heka. Okay.
They're gonna take our tiny tundra.
They have already done so. A pirate layer is orbiting this planet, Amabel.
Motherfucker.
And I am a priority target of these pirates. All right. Like I said, we're gonna have some words with these pirates. Hi, Academy Fleet. We're just hanging out here. No reason to interfere. Waiting for my probes to regenerate so I can ingratiate myself with this minor faction. So yeah, we've expanded out. We've come into conflict with people.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be annoying. In 6 turns, we'll be in control of the Kraz system, so that'll help to some degree. But yeah, we're going to have to figure some things out. And we're just about to change up our direction of research, getting ourselves some decent science stuff going. And then it's on to military from there. I think this is a good breaking point in our strategy. Maybe a time to end the episode. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, the previously perfectly peaceful Interstellar Crime Syndicate is going to develop some teeth. And we'll see you then.